Hello everybody, I'm Perry. Welcome to Awaken Hidden Truth with Scott Lemriel. Hello Scott.
Hello Perry.
How are you?
We had some fun last night. We were on an international group conference call with me on Zoom, weren't you?
I had great experience with you and with them.
You met a lot of people that you likely seem very comfortable and familiar with, correct?
Right.
Like you knew them for a long time.
Correct.
It's just all very easy to get along with. That's kind of what was happening right now. People that used to know each other a lot on other worlds, before they were brought here and made to forget everything, begin to remember each other. And some of those same people you used to know out among the stars or here on Earth, they're just beginning to remember who they are. So it's all good.
Scott?
So this is now what's the title of the show, if you don't mind repeating it?
Awaken Hidden Truth. Now it's part 3, Scott.
Part 3. Tre. I think that's French for 3. Although I don't speak French, I'm just having
In
fun.
French it's trois.
Well, whatever. I don't speak French. I speak Galactic Standard, but then nobody would understand me on Earth, so I don't speak it.
Correct. Even me, I don't understand it yet. Scott, I read your second book, The Emerald Doorway. Okay.
Yeah, you can speak more softly. It's a little bit loud on your end still.
Okay.
Just trying to get the speaker volumes level right. That's okay. No worries. So you read The Emerald Doorway.
Yes. It was
How
great.
did you like the illustrations of the book?
I love it, Scott, and I feel like the characters in your book, they are alive.
Yeah, they were real people 100,000 years ago.
Great.
And they're still alive somewhere. That's true, just like all of us. Most people on Earth were alive at that time on other worlds or in other lives. And people on Earth don't remember. You know, they don't know why they don't remember how they got to be on this planet. They don't know how they came here, where they came from before they were born here, or what they used to know. So what they're left with is growing up with world religions and teachers who teach them to have faith in this or faith in that, but they have little or no experience about the things they're told to believe. And so they can live their whole lives believing in a religion and then pass away or die and not know much more than they did when they were born about who they are as a soul, what people from other worlds call Atma, which is a living spherical energy form that comes from the source behind all life. And normal human beings in other worlds know what this is. They know they're not the bodies they play in. They know how to get in and out of their bodies at will. When they have children, they know who the being is that's about to get in that body, and the being that gets in the body can get in and out of it while the body's growing up. It's not like it is on Earth, out among the stars. Earth is not a normal human planet, not yet. It never has been. And that's for a couple of good reasons. Number one, because unlike other worlds, planet Earth's poles would flip overnight 180 degrees, just all the way around. And that would destroy the continental land masses and rise new ones up from the seafloor. Violent affair. Literally within 24 hours, most life is killed here. So you go back to the time of ancient continents like Lemriel, people have heard about Atlantis, and there have been many cultures long before that people don't know anything about Earth today. This planet's been very unusual because its poles do flip, which means any races that evolve here, when it's colonized from the stars, has 100,000-year lifespan, and then they either get off or leave, or people are left to perish in that catastrophe, that cataclysm. And then the planet has to be reseeded with new life, mammalian, plant, animal, and human. And under a treaty that goes back 500,000 years, this planet has been colonized in small areas by both tyrant extraterrestrial races and very kind, highly evolved, loving, benevolent ones. There hasn't been a galactic war in our galaxy for 500,000 years. There's been a treaty since then, to end that war. And there's been a kind of a Cold War that's been going on between tyrant races that are powerful and spacefaring, but few in number, and a very large organization of world systems that are massive, that are kind. you know anything about good beings, they don't go about destroying the whole worlds of a race or tyrant races they defeat in a war. That isn't their nature. They sign a treaty and everybody gets to rebuild. This is what happened 500,000 years ago. Because Earth's poles flip like this regularly, or at least they did, this planet it's never been allowed, no one race has been allowed to dominate this world in its history. It's an unusual planet in this regard. I think everybody on Earth kind of knows there's something really out of whack about this planet. Something really off about the way things are run here. 7.5 billion people, approximately, who don't know who they are, how they got here, is not normal. My work is all about helping people, assisting people to remember and recall what they were made to forget without their consent or their current awareness. This was done to everybody on this planet. No exceptions. The only way people will ever come to understand this is true is through their own direct experiences, through their own awakening direct experiences, dealing with what I reveal. It's not up to me to try to convince anybody of anything. It's up to me to share by example who I am, why I'm on this planet, to help bring about a transformation for this world for the first time in all of the entire history of the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds, and in fact in the entire history of the multidimensional universe itself. Something began out among the stars a little over 7 years ago that changed the consciousness of races out beyond Earth. And even some of what people call spiritual masters. Consciousness is being uplifted and changed too, to bring about an intervention on this planet. To some degree, since World War II ended, beings from the stars have intervened in this planet, not to take it over, but to keep us from blowing ourselves up in nuclear war. There have been 12 different incidences, highly classified to this day, when the former Soviet Union and the United States actually pushed the button to go to war, and their computers were shut down from beings from off-world. No other interference than that. Just do whatever you want, but not that. So fortunately, we've had some intervention on this planet in benevolent, kind ways, because people left to their own devices on this world have been manipulated by tyrant beings from other worlds through the misuse of advanced extraterrestrial technology. And people don't know it was even done to them. I would have to say that the governments of the world and the people in a more classified arena knew that something was done to them that they were not capable of defending against many years ago. Things are changing now in really, really quite wondrous ways. So, because of what happened out amongst the stars recently, it's possible now to bring about an intervention on this planet. That means, what it really means is that people on Earth who think they have free will really aren't operating in true free will at all. How can you operate in true free will if you don't know who you are as a being, if not the body, who you were and what you knew before you were born here, and what your real co-creative purpose is for existing as a being? If you don't know that, how can you have true free will? How can 7.5 billion people, classified or unclassified, make correct decisions not to destroy themselves without it? Because without it, they can't. And eventually they would have destroyed this planet. Already would have, if we were alone in the universe. I would have to say that what I talk about and why I do it is to help people understand that there is a way out of this. There are ways and techniques that are not from Earth to help people recover the memory of all this. And it has to be done through their own co-creative participation. It means they have to be, what is true free will, has to be awoken enough in them so they can, of free will, co-create with others that can really help them begin to recover so much that was taken from them without their consent, before they found themselves incarnated on this planet with little or no memory of how they got here. What people think is normal on this planet is not normal for most worlds beyond it. In Galactics, galactic history, there were certain ways that beings operated that prevented them from, and under treaty, from directly intervening to make this place a paradise. Because there's still tyrant races out amongst the stars. They don't dominate, but they do sneak around corners covertly to try to get more people, slaves, materials, resources, breaking an off-world treaty just short of going to war. This has been going on a very long time. That whole way of doing things is coming to a permanent end. I won't attempt to explain that on the radio show, but when people get into the Savior's Agenda and the Emerald Doorway book, one of the Parallel Time trilogy that are published now, particularly in the back of the Savior's Agenda is a whole lot of techniques written and designed for the prologue and all 29 chapters, so that when people start to work with the primordial first sound vibration, known as HU, it's part of the word human actually, it vibrates or opens a door in the pineal gland at the center of the brain. And then it goes out telepathically, and it's not psychic, so there's no negative or positive that can affect this. It's a primordial first sound that brought everything into creation, and it's like a fail-safe. When people begin to become aware of what it is again and start to use it, their life begins to change in quite remarkable ways. Gradually, but carefully and in a balanced way, a person begins to remember the whole universe and their part in it. My work is about helping people to wake that up through their own creative participation in the process. There aren't any beings in the universe I know of, whether they're master spiritual beings or the vast billions that are living in other worlds in just 1/4 of our Milky Way galaxy, that will wave a magic wand and set someone free without that person's conscious free will participation, because it's against spiritual law everywhere. They wouldn't do it. So it's important that a person contribute to their own recovery and their own enlightenment. In the past, even with spiritual masters working the scenes behind everything over thousands of years on this planet, this world has not changed at all. In all that history, it's still the knucklehead place that everybody sees it on the news every day. It's not changed. But it is going to be changed in ways that are most remarkable and unexpected by people here. Fortunately for us who must still live on this planet, or we would all be toast already. This is 2018. I kept telling people, don't worry about North Korea. I said, it's not a problem. They go, oh, it's going to be a rocket shot any day. I said, no. The people have these nuclear weapons sitting in bomb cases and rusting rockets they can't even use. What do I mean by that? I mean they can't use nuclear weapons on this planet above ground. And there hasn't been one tested above ground for decades. Because they can't. The governments of this world aren't going to tell their people that they've got this big nuclear thing, use it to control people, and tell them that they're powerless to actually use them, because then people wouldn't be confident in their governments or military, and the whole thing would fall apart. One of the reasons they classified the fact that their launch computers were shut down during the Cold War is because they wanted people to rebuild the world and have babies and feel safe. There are races out there millions of years more advanced than people on this planet. If the bad guys were allowed to come from the stars, people wouldn't even be alive here, and what would be left would be slaves. So what I'm trying to say here and get across to your listeners is something is underway now that is beginning to make inroads to change this planet forever. And as people from other worlds that I know of, associates of mine say, as do the Mayans, when they talk about the end of one calendar, December 21st, 2012, I think it was, and now into the next calendar, it's not about Armageddon at all. Not to them. It's always been about the retiring of evil as an experiment. That's how they think of it. And that's accurate. They're simple people. They don't know what form it will take, but they know that's what is coming means. You get people that are turn of the century that met with Mayans and trying to figure out what their calendar's all about, that were Christians and archaeologists that came there and tried to fit it into the Bible and all that. It doesn't fit. It's not meant to. So they just went underground for a long time, these Mayan shamans. They said these younger people don't get it. They want to twist it into some kind of religion. But it's not what it's about. And it's never been about an Armageddon. Another thing that I share with people is that the prophesied destructive destiny of this planet has been permanently altered a few years ago, so that it's not going to be a destroyed world. It's completely changed. A lot of people want there to be an Armageddon so they can get out of the suffering of not knowing who they are living in this world. They think it will be a way out, but it isn't. You can lose a body, but the consciousness you take with you when the body goes with you. That doesn't change in some heaven somewhere. The only thing a person takes with them when the body passes away is what their state of consciousness. And I can tell you the universe out there doesn't want 7.5 billion people completely oblivious to who they are, who would destroy themselves in a heartbeat, coming out in the universe and mucking it up. That's a problem for people who don't suffer from the suppressed consciousnesses that people have on Earth. There are many hundreds of millions of worlds out there that scientists on Earth are becoming aware. Billions in our galaxy alone that could support life like on Earth. Billions. They know that now. They don't know how to get there. They're not sure there's water, but they're pretty sure there is. But they know that much on Earth today. And this is the non-classified people, the PhDs that are trained in colleges that have never been brought into the secret that extraterrestrials exist. Because that's the most highly classified thing there is on Earth. Decided by 35 countries after World War II to keep it secret from the populace, so the world could rebuild and feel safe. Because there were races coming here giving us technology against the leaders' better judgments that were being manipulated subconsciously to accept technology that we enjoy today, but we didn't get it from the good guys. That's a very big problem. Which means the people who were willing to give us technology from the stars, they didn't care if we gave up nuclear weapons, have an ulterior motive for providing their more antiquated technology, and it's not a good one. I would have to say that the people in classified arenas, many of them are good people, have been trying to figure out how to get out of this association with tyrant extraterrestrials for 65 plus years. They're starting to get help. And what I mean by that is that tyrants who are on the planet from other worlds have been, shall we say, in a nice way, sent home. So you don't have any more abductions by little grays of human beings that everybody hears stories about that's 20 years old or more. Older. That's not happening anymore. That doesn't take place on this planet anymore. People don't know it. Lots of things have changed. When I send out this sound, it comes from a awakened, knowing awareness, certainty, no doubt, no fear, no speculation, no theory, of what it does and what it connects me to and who it connects me to, and the enlightening awareness that it brings about in the individual. So when I share it with people, I'm always very sincere about what I'm doing, and they know that. They can feel it. They pick it up telepathically. People are telepathic. Humans are, but humans on Earth are not conscious of it anymore. Beings from other worlds are. I think one of the most shocking things that I discovered along my journey is that human beings never evolved on this planet in the first place. Not from Cro-Magnon man or Neanderthal, both extinct species human-like, but we don't have the same genomes. And there is no missing link anybody's ever found outside of theory that we had anything to do with either one of those extinct species. Because there isn't a smoking gun like that on this planet. Human beings are billions of years old. They evolved to this form out among the stars and other galaxies even, long before this Earth could sustain life. People have been coming here, beings from other worlds, for more than 50 million years, since the dinosaurs were made extinct. Do you remember that, Perry?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember? You remember that now because of my work, I think.
Yes.
But to really know it not just information that I've imparted, but to really remember it. That's another step. And you and everyone else that I speak with on this planet are capable of remembering it. They just need the right set of circumstances with the right kind of beings not from this world, that never born here, that have none of the idiosyncrasies and subconscious suppressions that are going on here, that are experts in their fields, who can help people recover this. So I endeavor to get people in contact with them, not by what I say, but by their own direct experience, and it takes a little time. So if I send this sound out, what's really happening is I'm speaking to you, the real you, and your audience, the Atma, because what we are as soul is spiritually shaped energy. It has a structure. It's not made of physical matter from the physical universe. It is energy, but not like people understand on Earth. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be split like an atom. A field of energy can be placed around it that makes that person or compels that person to forget much of what they knew. But none of it's permanent. And eventually a being gets out of that, gets free of that, on any world. This planet is now designated to become a liberated world. An unexpected transformation is underway here now. Little by little, people are going to begin to see changes in leaders and people and things in this world, like the North Korean leader walking down to the south and shaking hands with the South Korean leader and saying, "I'm giving up all the nuclear weapons." I kept telling people, don't worry about North Korea. Now the focus in the news is on Iran again. Don't worry about this stuff. It's just a game. The world's not going to go up in nuclear war. People with nuclear weapons already understand that. They don't tell their people that yet. They're frightened. They don't know how to tell people what they've been keeping a lid on for 65 years or more, how to do it without being lynched when people find out. They want to tell the truth, but they don't know how to do it. So they're getting some help, not from this world, about how to go about this. And they're going to need a lot of that help to turn this place around, because it's a pretty backward planet. We don't even have one government that's kind anywhere on Earth. And thousands of governments that don't even get along. It's pretty silly. People think that must be like how it is out there in space. It isn't. I'll give you an example. In the many millions of races that travel the stars into parallel dimensions in the physical universe, there's 144 of them. And they have open trade and freedom between all of that, the technologies that are out. They don't and do not allow money to exist. It's illegal because it's created by tyrants to control people. On Earth we have to use it because everybody's conditioned to it. That's practical. We all understand that. But it isn't the way it is in other worlds. Earth is very far behind them. And nor do governments lie to their people about anything, even their latest technology, because there's no conflict within those millions of worlds. None is tolerated. The few tyrant races that are out there would, if they could, take over, but that's never going to happen. If an all-out war broke out with, say, reptilians, people have heard about, the reptilians would lose again. But lots of people would be killed, maybe people on Earth. So war is always avoided at all costs if it can be. There have been ships shot down on this planet and recovered by governments here that are not from this world, but we did not shoot them down. Looks like you're looking at the time. Are we getting close?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to send this out in this first part of the show.
Uh-huh.
What that does is open a doorway into seeing and understanding the true nature of the grand multidimensional universe and who we are as beings, co-creative beings within it. The true purpose of a being is to co-create only uplifting, wonderful things for the benefit of all life, not just life on Earth, all life. That's how beings operate outside this planet. It's about time people on Earth became aware that they are not alone in the universe and never have been, because if we had been, this planet wouldn't exist. All life would be dead here. So it's something they need to understand. Fear and doubt keeps people controlled. When they're gone, people create properly, naturally, normally. Fear and anger and hate and revenge, doubt, fear, speculation, these are artificially created emotions. They aren't even part of real human nature. And people think that they are. They are not. They come from subconscious programs. I hope that that helps your audience until we come back.
Okay, so see you in part 2, Scott. Take a break. Okay, Scott, we started part 2, okay?
Okay.
Please.
So while you were on break, I was sharing with you because there was thunder happening in Thailand.
Uh-huh.
Which precedes rain, lightning, now it's raining, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thunder is the sound of the physical universe. What I mean by that is the sound of thunder rumbling is the sound that is like a universal current that comes into the physical plane from the next major heaven or division above it called the astral, the emotional plane. In the physical universe, there's 144 different physical levels to it that beings who have the technology understand can travel between. So it's not just the hundreds of billions of stars and planets in one galaxy that they travel to. It's 444 levels of that. It's very huge. It's gigantic, what creation really is. And the sound that runs through, once it leaves the astral, comes into the physical, sounds like thunder, if you can tune in behind it, through the hue to the sound behind creation. When you go into the astral plane and tune into the sound behind creation, it sounds like the crashing ocean, like a continuous sound of crashing ocean. You go up into the causal plane, next plane up, and it's like the running water in a stream. And you go up into the mental, and there's like the sound of bells and chimes. You go up above the void known to the Buddhists into the Atma, or the soul plane, or the one above it, which divides the upper worlds from the lower. There's this thin, high sound of a high note of a flute sound. When people begin to become aware of these various sounds, then they can move where they are around the universe to other planets. People that travel in advanced ships from other worlds faster than light speed, way beyond it, can also leave their bodies, can also go to those planets spiritually and without ships, but they do the ship thing more for the races that are less involved. They have some way of relating and moving and trade and keeping things peaceful. The more advanced beings don't even need ships to get around. Beings like Terrellian, Ambassador Terrellian, is the ambassador of the Say race, S-E-R-A-S, but it's pronounced as if it was spelled S-A-Y-R-A-Y-S, Say race. They are the most advanced and most ancient of races. Among many galaxies, they're 18 to 20 feet tall, they're human. We get our genomes, this particular form, from their experimentation with bringing higher forms of bodies for beings or souls to get into several billion years ago. They were responsible for seeding and developing reptilian and greys and tall whites and Nordics and humans of many kinds and shades of color all over the universe, and bringing them up to spacefaring capability. And then they backed away from creation to see what people would do with it. They fairly recently decided to come back into this arena because it's quite clear that what beings did with it was nearly annihilate themselves in war. So it's not a good thing to take the presence of higher beings who are loving and kind out of the picture. The results are pretty disastrous. One of the beings I met, the most important crossroads of my life when I was writing the sandwich book, I was introduced to Ambassador Terrellian. Pretty shocking. A little guy like me, even a sphere about this size, there's this big sphere, on it. And you see him energetically as a presence, as a physical body, because they can materialize it when they will. They immortalize their physical bodies, the atoms that make up their DNA. They store it in a being. They manifest it when bodies over 1 billion years ago. It would really be wise for people on Earth to one day meet with them. Their vibration, their energy is far too advanced for people on Earth to experience right now. So the best thing people on Earth can do is meet with fellow human beings from other worlds first. So they can get back to being used to telepathy and having photographic memories, which all human beings have on the world. To use 100% of their brain instead of 6 to 10 that they say we use here. What's wrong with that? You got 100% brain developed, you can use 6 to 10% of it. Something suppressed that. That's not normal. So a normal human being is telepathic, they have photographic memory, use 100% of the brain. They get into other bodies, they know what they are, that's the atom, the divine, or the source itself. Because what we are as individual beings are made up or comprised of the very same energies what people think the supreme being is. And it's not a nine of rules there, it's much deeper than that.
Scott, I apologize because it's raining heavily and I hardly hear you. Would you mind if you come up again next show with me on next Friday?
Don't lean so close to the mic, you're distorting it. Back up a little bit.
Okay.
Back up, no, don't touch it.
Okay.
Back up, no,
Because it's raining heavily here and hardly hear you. Is it okay if you come on the show with me next Friday?
Sure.
Okay, we do again next Friday.
I can hear you just fine, but I don't know if this is recorded.
Yeah, but here, I mean, the sound of the rain and storm, thunder very strongly.
Well, you only can hear your voice, I can't hear anything.
Okay, because because I am recording, so I know the sounds, I mean, to echo. I apologize. Okay, we do the show.
I'll tell you what, we'll leave off and begin again next time. Exploring what the grand multidimensional universe is like. The different divisions, the different levels. Because people on Earth don't know it, but they are capable of understanding this. Okay, what they are comprised of as the being that they are, not the body, is made of the same energy that the source itself is. The source behind all creation. Our job, our real function as beings is to come up with new creative ways to do things for the source, co-create with it, return to that source, so that it can change in ways that it doesn't even know about. We are part of that, and people need to recover that awareness. They're never going to know what their purpose for existing really is. So we'll begin there next time.
Okay. Scott, thank you very much for today. We'll see you on Friday on Awaken Hidden Truth next Friday. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ